I'm feeling that right there. I almost wanted to keep it going, but I'm too excited about tonight's conversation. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Get to Know Bob. We're having an amazing conversation this evening as May continues with mental health awareness. I'm your host, Sonia M. Weaver, and I have a lineup of some amazing moms that are going to be joining the conversation with me to share a light on our everyday life as we have beautiful, amazing children that have, maybe certain things we call cognitive. But, I always say I have a son who just processes information a little bit different than you might process it, or he might have a little different ways of socializing than you do. Because I'm telling you, there are things that this young man does that are so unique, so amazing that the majority of us need to think like he does, actually. So I can't wait because I know I am not alone, even though sometimes it feels like it. So, yes, I will have some people co signing with me on tonight, and I just cannot wait. Before I get into it, I'm not going to share too much about, kind of things what I did this weekend because I'm going to be honest, I don't even remember. I know one thing that I did is that I had a phenomenal linked event with the Detroit Deltas during their May week, and it was their desire to support Black business. And then they said it was a cherry on the top for a female Black business. So we had an amazing time with those women. If you are a part of an organization or you are, just want to get linked because it's a fabulous thing to do, we're here for you. Just visit RU Linked. That's the letter R, the letter U, LYNKED.com and contact us today and we'll get the ball rolling. But yes, if you're part of an organization, sorority, different things, I'm telling you, you will enjoy getting linked. So I am just ready now to move into the conversation. I'm telling you, I do not want it to go too much. We will have sponsored times throughout the segment where we're bringing on the events we have, but we're going to spend most of the time engaged in conversation. Now, if you missed last week, because we kind of was thrown off a little bit, we had a show that went live on Tuesday night rather than Wednesday. And one thing that we're trying to do as well is to play the replay on our social media page live. So we're thinking probably Black Friday. That would just make the most sense for our platform. So we're thinking about Friday afternoons. We will have the replay available for you. So if you missed last week's show, though, with Dr. Lisa H. Fuller, I will encourage you to go back and watch. It was an amazing, amazing show. On tonight, our topic, Brave Moms, Bright Futures, real talk about mental health. And on tonight's show, we have the phenomenal Bertanji Bailey, Monica Hamlet, Sierra Johnson, and Tiffany Seabrooks. Welcome, welcome, ladies, to tonight's show.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Hello, everybody.
Awesome. Of course. I'm just glad you all were available to come on and you agreed to come on. I am excited for our conversation. Again, what we're going to be discussing for those watching is we're coming from a mom's perspective, firsthand involvement with mental health as it pertains to dealing with the child. And then we're going to have the latter part of the conversation for engaged moms who find themselves in a particular crisis, maybe by circumstances or situations that have happened that has led them to seek out therapy. Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to start off with some of the introductions and then share what special child you have, a reason why I invited you to tonight's show. Let's begin with Bertanji Kendricks Bailey.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brittany Kendricks Bailey. I have a nonprofit, Hezekiah Kids Incorporated. Go to Facebook, join that page. It's a support group. So I provide resources for parents because at the age of 4, my son was diagnosed with autism, and I felt the need to educate myself so that I can help him and to also make sure he lives a productive life and to help other parents that may be along this blue journey along with me.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, Bertanji, did you say age 4?
He was diagnosed at age 4.
Okay. I will be talking a little bit more about that later on in our conversation. Next, Sierra Johnson, please share a little bit about yourself and why you're here.
Hey, my name is Sierra Johnson. I am a mother. I have a daughter with Downs. She's 10 years old now. She was born with Downs. So for me, I had to educate myself a little bit about it just because I was 21 years old, not really knowing what an extra chromosome meant. My mom and her job sent me like a booklet of like information to kind of like retain and just understand what I was dealing with and what certain obstacles that I may face, but that didn't hinder me from being an awesome mom that I am. It just kind of prepared me and just gave me the knowledge to understand my child a little bit more. But for the most part, I decided to, and I was blessed to be asked to join you guys just because I also feel like just having that awareness with women that can understand and we can teach and learn off each other. It was just like an awesome opportunity. So I'm here.
I love it. I love it. And you're right. That is one of the main reasons too for us to come together with that conversation. Miss Tiffany Seabrooks is having some connective issues, so we will have her pop in as best we can. We're going to keep her on it. Without completely self-introducing her, she does have 2 sons that she's going to share while she's part of this conversation. So we definitely keep your prayers up that connection gets better. And now we have the phenomenal Monica Mona Lisa Hamlet, who has been on our show before. But I'm loving the fact that you're here for this particular topic. Please share why you received an invitation to come on tonight's show.
Yes. Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you inviting me on again. I love your platform, as you know, and it's just an honor to be a part of it. So I am Monica Mona Lisa Hamlet. For 17 years, I owned a full-service entertainment promotions company. And in December, I was forced to close my business down due to health reasons. So I'm here to talk about reinventing myself after a huge part of my identity was shut down. So I'm here about the mental health journey that I've had and that I'm still on.
Awesome. Awesome. And last but not least, we have the phenomenal Tiffany Seabrooks. Please share why you were invited to tonight's conversation.
Well, hello, ladies. Hello, everyone. My name is Tiffany Seabrooks. I have a foundation, Dreamers to Achievers, a nonprofit organization, Dreamers to Achievers for Down syndrome. I was invited tonight to speak about my wonderful Down son and to speak about my other son who is cognitively impaired.
Awesome. Awesome. So we're going to get right into it. Okay. So we know that with Down syndrome, we have DNA and genetics involved. So that's normally at the time of birth that, or sometimes in the womb, we know that our child is going to be Downs. Vertangia and I have sons who were born. However, it's not something we were aware of at birth. So, starting out with the spectrum, Vertangia, that's why I wrote it down. You have age 4, and I believe my knowledge of recognizing something was wrong was during, well, I hate saying wrong, different from what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, when he was kind of like still under one, because to me it was too much aggression when it came to change. And I was like, this is not right. Something's not right with that. You shouldn't be this aggressive with it. And so I was constantly, once he got older, let me find out what it quote unquote is, so then I can work it. Just let me know, then I know what to do. And for me, he didn't get truly diagnosed until
Okay.
second grade. We've been here 20, but we've been here for almost 20 years. He's 25. So around 6, 7, around age 6 or 7. So for me, like I said, I noticed things very early. How was your awareness made when you were first mothering Hezekiah?
Actually, I had a job as an HR director and I traveled a lot. So my mom was, and my parents thought that Hezekiah was a little different from Zechariah. He always liked to do things orderly, was very quiet and withdrawn from everybody. I didn't think too much of it because I'm a quiet person. Zechariah had traits of his dad, um, which was outgoing, and I was a more quiet person. So I didn't think too much about it. Then the doctor started noticing, Miss Bailey, we need to have Hezekiah tested. I think he may have ADHD or autism. So I became aware of autism around after his testing. At the age of 4, he was completely tested and diagnosed by the age of 4. I saw the signs, but I wasn't familiar with what they may be. I just knew he was a little different from that. But kids tend to have different personalities. Like me and my siblings, my brother's a talker. My sister, she's more laid back. I'm not really an outgoing person. So I didn't think too much of that. But the doctor and the psychiatrist kept bringing it to my attention, my mom. So I'm thankful that they did. And I think at 4 it's pretty early enough to get him the assistance that he needed and the help so that he can live a productive life. And I feel I had one chance to get it right, and so now I educated myself so that he can be productive and make sure he had the right resources in place, right medicine in place, right therapy in place, so that he can live a normal life like my Zachariah.
That's awesome that that they even came to you with ADHD or autism, because that was not my story. My story was everything but what it was.
Right.
And then the educational system was, we don't know how to handle them, come pick them up from school. So I became in a place of very heightened frustration because I knew too, okay, well, help me. You're the educators. I don't know. So I was getting things like oppositional defiant disorder. I'm like, no, that doesn't sound like, because I started researching. No, that's not it. ADHD, no, that's not it. ADD, no, that's not it. And then finally frustrating because I'm seeing my child frustrated and suffer. I'm getting frustrated. The educational teachers, they get frustrated and just don't want to deal with them. And so I'm just like, well, let's just try like meds. I just was trying at this point. So I always say I love how God led me to my home and led me to where we at, because within the first week of him going to the school systems where we're at, they put a counselor with him, and she said, Miss Weaver, don't be alarmed. I think I know what it is. And once they gave me the literature on autism, Asperger's and all that, it was like a peace came upon me, because I finally had something that sounded like what I was dealing with. And that is what I want people to understand. One thing is, when you as a mom and you recognize there may be something different with my child, don't be afraid to seek out what it is, because you are more empowered when you understand and know what it is, because then I can make a process to start helping my child. Now, flipping a little bit towards Sierra and Tiffany, we're going to speak on Downs right now. When did you ladies, starting with Tiffany, when did you find out? Because I know sometimes the discovery can be in the womb and sometimes it can be after birth.
I found out about Carter being Downs in the womb. Because of my age, I was tested quite early when they found out that I was pregnant. And so at 3 months in the womb, they found out that he was, my numbers came back stating that all signs pointing that he was Down syndrome. So then we did more tests and it verified that he was Down syndrome. But that was in the womb.
Okay. And Sierra, what about you?
I'm gonna say the same. I was 21, so I found out when she was in the womb. So what did it for us was they told me about how because I wasn't that certain age criteria, it was they was trying to have they had a hard time trying to understand like how um how I had a child that could possibly have Downs, but it was the way that she looked when I would get like ultrasounds of her, and they were really concerned. Like they was like they would give me an ultrasound and they'll be whispering, and I'm like, well, what's wrong? Like what's wrong? I don't understand what's going on. So it was like I went through many tests, having to get needles in my stomach, having to continue to get grafts of her, and it kind of freaked me out because it was like, okay, y'all not really telling me what's going on, but I'm hearing y'all whisper in the background. So it was just like more so, like I said, just having to educate myself after that because it was just like, okay, I'm only 21, so you can't keep telling me it's an age thing because I'm that one out of 5 people in the room. And ironically, I just so happen to have a child with Down. So it was in the womb, but I just went through many tests and yeah, so it was just that's how it happened.
Okay. So then when it being in the womb, and of course now we're going to have to, carry our child knowing this. And we're talking about mental health and we're talking about the impact of all of these kind of things as being a mom. How did that impact your personal mental health?
For myself, it was a big blow. Um, I didn't know I didn't know how to even tell my husband because I didn't know how to tell him. I cried, and later I found out the reason why I was crying was because I was grieving the baby that I thought that I was gonna have. Um,
Mhm.
it was a lot for me because when I found out that my son was Down syndrome, I found out shortly after that, like Sierra said, we went through a lot of testing, and then I found out that Carter had a very severe heart defect. So not only do I have a Down syndrome baby coming, I now have a baby that has a severe heart defect who may not live. So it was an emotional roller coaster ride, but I was blessed because we have a strong support system. I don't know where I would have been mentally without the support system that encamped us daily. That was with him in the womb and once he came out of the womb.
Support system, that's key. I'm glad you brought that up.
Mm,
Because a lot of moms have the tendency, I know I have sometimes, to feel like I'm in this by myself,
right.
feeling like I'm not even getting it right. I'm not even, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not helping my child, I'm going through all these emotional, mental things. So
Yes.
yes, thank you for sharing that. A support system is so important.
Yes, it
Sierra, what
is.
about you when you're carrying this baby? How was it impacting you?
For me, I feel like learning something like that at 21. First of all, I have PCOS. So I learned that at a very early age, even before when I got a period, it was just like I had to educate myself on that. So when I was even told that I couldn't have a child, and then as I got older, straight out of college, I was able to have a child, and just learning that my daughter has something that I know nothing about. Downs was something I had to really educate myself. For me personally, I felt alone. I'm young, I'm 21 years old. None of my friends that got children could even fathom to understand where I'm coming from. I cried so much. When I first found out about her, I didn't even want to tell her dad because I didn't even know how to say it. I didn't know, like, I just was like, so I was just so to myself, and being pregnant at 4 or 5 months and having the option to terminate her, and I had to hurry up and decide. It was a lot for me, even though I'm an only child, so I have a good support system, but I still felt alone. Like, I still felt to myself, because it's like nobody understand what I'm going through. If I cry now, nobody gonna understand why I'm not. And it wasn't a cry of being upset, it was a cry of not understanding, and I have to go through this alone. Like, even though I had her dad, it's just, I'm carrying her, I'm conceiving her, she's in my stomach. So it was just like having that connection with Mackenzie at a young age, and just trying to, like I said, just trying to grasp that understanding of, like I said, even what Downs was, I just really felt to myself. Like, I just didn't think, even if I was to explain how I felt, the next person would understand. Because around me, as most people, they have children with no defects, no situations where they have any special needs, or, you know, kids are what the common person may say normal. You get what I'm saying? So when that happened,
what they call typical.
Yeah, so it's like I didn't have the courtesy. I did a lot of sheltering myself. My pregnancy, like I've always said, was horrible, because I went through a lot of stuff by myself, going to doctor's appointments and just retaining one bad thing after another, one more thing for me to have to learn. So for me, I just felt alone.
Wow. You know, and that is a place where no one wants to be.
No.
And when we talk about mental health, a lot of people that have challenges with mental health, and or like Mona and I are going to talk about, even you guys going to be able to chime in later, you're in this situation where your thoughts make you feel alone. Like, you know, I'm in this by myself. I have all of this emotion on me, and it weighs you down emotionally and mentally. And that is where I want to make sure, that's why I added Mona to this conversation, because a lot of us, I know I did not seek support groups during the time of my son. I did not seek therapy. I am currently with therapy and a therapist, but it was at a point where I was like, I am mentally and physically about to check out of this world. Not because I'm taking myself out, but because I'm shutting down, both physically and mentally, because it became too exhausting to try to handle all of this weight by myself. So key words again for those who are listening. We're talking about support, right? You need support. We're talking about how you were emotionally drained and exhausted with handling what you're going through. And if you need to seek out, you know, support, or seek out a therapist, please, if you're watching and you're feeling this way, please do so. Now, we are going to take a short break to recognize some of our sponsors. But when we get back, we're going to have Tiffany tell us about, she has another son with cognitive that's older. And then we're going to talk about, where do you feel you have, I guess, maybe felt, and it might not be true, but felt like you didn't give your child what they needed as a mom. And then where you feel like you're excelling at. All righty, we'll be right back.
With Crystal L. Gunn, financial strategist. Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Your daily dose of financial empowerment. A journey towards financial wisdom and small business mastery.
Get your family together for financial night or grab your tribe and get flawless with financial strategist Crystal L. Gunn. Schedule your night today.
Friday night decompression session hosted by Sonia M. Weaver and Jason Integrity. Celebrate the wins, let go of the stress, vent, share, and encourage. Register today on Facebook or Alignable by searching for the BE Black Entrepreneurs Group.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, search for Deals with Bob, and click the subscribe button.
Okay, we're back. So Tiff, share with us. You have to be super duper strong because we like, whoa, you have 2 amazing sons. Well, you really got a whole lot of sons, but 2 of them happen to be what the world would title have some type of cognitive concerns. So share with us about your older son.
So my older son, who's 24 now, he is cognitively impaired. Thank God it's just mildly cognitively impaired, but he's cognitively impaired due to a bathtub incident at a very, very early age, before the age of 1. Um, we did not, for him, we didn't even find out that he was cognitively impaired until he was in kindergarten. He was tested in preschool because I saw some delays, but I couldn't really tell. It was hard to tell if this is a delay or if this is him being stubborn. But we found out in kindergarten that he was cognitively impaired, and it was a struggle because coming up through the years, he suffered from embarrassment from his impairment. And it was hard. It's hard to watch your child struggle. And he put his best foot forward in everything that he attempted to do, but he struggled with it, and he was embarrassed by it a lot, all the way up until high school. He was embarrassed by his condition, not really understanding that the condition is not his fault, not understanding that it's okay. Um, but it was a struggle. But the bigger struggle for me was with the Downs child. Having to, and actually when I was pregnant and they told me that Carter was pregnant, I mean that Carter was Downs, my second son was Downs. I was like, Lord, I can't do 2, because I'm like, how do I do 2 special needs children? That's a lot. It's a lot. But the way that God worked it, my older special needs son takes care of my younger special needs son, and he does an amazing job doing
That's
it.
awesome. Yes,
His
he
nickname
does.
is, what is it, Daddy Brother? Daddy Brother, because he takes care of his little brother to the fullest. So his impairment has not held him back in no way.
I love that. I love that. So Ratanji, I just want you to chime in because you have 2 sons as well, siblings. And there's 2 things I want you to chime in. I want the relationship between your 2 sons, how that looks for you. And then Tiffany said something key. She said delay versus stubborn. Because I admit there are times where I'll be like, is this the, you know, the spectrum, or are you being stubborn? You know, so please share.
I used to have movie night at my home with my 2 boys on Friday night. So me and Hezekiah, we would always sit down and eat popcorn, and while I'm in the kitchen cooking, so for Friday night dinner doing something, so I would allow Hezekiah and Zachariah to go up to their room and play. Well, before they could sit down and watch the movie and enjoy, I would have Zachariah go back upstairs and clean the room. So one day Zachariah kept coming downstairs looking at me, and he looked at Hezekiah, he went back. I said, well, what's wrong, Zach? He said, Mom, Hezekiah playing on his disability, but he had the ability to take all the toys down and leave them on the floor, not have to clean them up. He said, Mama, there's nothing wrong with his hands. He has autism. But he sat there and asked me, Zach, take that down. Can I play with this? And I got it down. And he played with the toys, and he gets to sit down and eat popcorn with you while I'm upstairs slaving like Cinderella. I had to really think about it. So he said, Mom, he took the toys down. He have hands. He can go back upstairs and put them up. So he said, Mom, you're getting older, so you're not going to always be around him. So we need to teach him that there's ability in his disability. So, Mom, can he come back upstairs and help me out? So, with that being said, I learned to start treating him different and teach him that he can do whatever he wants to do with his mindset to it. But then I also had to teach him you're going to be out in the world someday and you want to be able to communicate and understand what people are saying. So that was a lesson for me. Even though he's artistic, to still give him a chance at life, not just let him sit down and be baby. So
Yeah.
he has 3 other brothers, and they think the same thing. They said Hezekiah gets away with everything. But I had to really realize he's artistic. So I didn't know. I was afraid. I said this happened to my baby. I just don't know, and I just felt some kind of way. So I think a lot of it was guilt. So I just let him just do whatever he wanted to do. But my boys, they was like, "Mom, he needs to learn how to do this. He can ask us to do something, and then he gets to sit down after he messes up the house. He can help me clean up." So I learned, to just embrace his autism and to try to raise him to the best of my ability with his other brother.
I love that. Yes, I love that. And I love Ratanji has Hezekiah out. It's almost like he's her accessory. Like they're like Siamese twins. I mean, and he is the sweetest person like ever. But because a lot of autistic children suffer with socialization, the fact that she has him out in different environments amongst different people and he's been like accustomed to it. She has posts now where he's getting awards and he's out or he wants to be involved in this fashion show and stuff. It's like, wow, we never
work for me to get him there because we used to go places and we had to leave like 30 minutes into it.
Right. But you didn't stop.
I didn't stop. I kept going.
Stop. You kept going. You kept going. And and that's one thing where I feel like at some point where it got really discomforting for him, he got older, it would be like, look, I won't put you in that position. You can stay home, with your sister or whatever. And sometimes I tell him, you have no choice, you're going. And I see him prepare. It's like you got to give him a couple days notice to prepare, to get mentally to know I'm going to be around people. It might be a lot of noise. It might be this, but what I will say is that him working, and he's been working consistently for 2 years, I think something must have been done pretty good. So ladies, we're going to take another quick break. But when we come back, I don't know if, with the exception of Mona, if any of you other ladies have sought out professional therapy, but we're going to kind of discuss, how it's been beneficial. It can be, oh, hi, Hezekiah, or it can be beneficial. So we'll be right back.
A night of music, food, and fun. For Mellow Fridays, being entertained by award-winning King Mellow Man. Every Friday at Shields Restaurant, Bar and Pizzeria. Located at 25101 Telegraph Road, Southfield, Michigan.
Memorial Day Celebration of Life, hosted by Tranquility Christian Counseling. Honoring and remembering our loved ones. Friday, May 24th from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. 24100 Southfield Road, Suite 320H, Southfield, Michigan 48075. Register today on Eventbrite.
Amazing Women Speak. The Strength to Surrender. When Obedience Leads to Greater Wisdom. With guest Sonia M. Weaver. May 26, 2024 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Listen live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Hosted by Crystal L. Gunn and Michelle Harper. Attention girl dads. Linked wants you to come beat and bond with your daughter for Father's Day. Saturday, June 8, 2024 from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Caroline Kennedy Library, 25490 George Street, Dearborn Heights, Michigan. You're the world to your daddy's girl.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, search for Deals with Bob, and click the subscribe button.
Okay, we're back. Now, Mona, thank you for you just kind of in the cut now. She has an amazing son. He does not have any cognitive concerns, but Mona's part of this conversation because as a mom, we are still the example for our children. So this is a valid conversation because for me, I do have a child that's considered to be on the cognitive or processing information, whatever you want to say. And I held it all in. You know, I wore my cape proudly. I don't know who on this call had that Superwoman cape on as well. And I wore it proudly. It didn't matter what kept piling on top of me. But then when it came too heavy and the cape wasn't enough, I said, I need to seek out professional help because there's something going on in me that needs to be addressed in order for me to get through, heal through, and go through this particular area of my life. Life happened for me as well. You know, I was in a car accident. My had double concussion, so my mental slowed down. That impacted me. I didn't realize. So it was like I lost a part of me that I depended on and that I was proud of, being able to maintain a lot of information and quick on my thinking and all. It started slowing down. I couldn't remember stuff, or you know, so I had to kind of like grieve a part of me that was no longer there. And Tiffany mentioned it earlier. She had to grieve the child she thought she would have. And we talked about grief a number of times on this show and how very traumatic mentally handling grief or handling loss really can be. The loss of an idea of a child that you thought you were going to have, and then dealing with that new reality. So Mona's story kind of was, you know, she was in a traumatic accident, which kind of changed how she just functioned in the world. And she had that cape on, didn't you, Mona? You kept that cape on for a long time after that accident.
Yeah, I had to take that cape off, send it to the cleaners, and hang it up as you know, a reminder. So yes. So my story, I'll make it short because it's been 5 years in the making, this part of my life. So in 2019, it was just 5 years actually, May 20th. In 2019, I was sitting at a red light. The car in front of me was a little bit bigger than my vehicle, and behind me was a huge double hauler semi truck. So we were sitting at a red light, and when the light turned, or when he saw the car in front of me turning right, he forgot I was there by that time. And then you know, I think all of us know like that huge torque that goes through the truck when they first put it in gear. That's what went through my car and through my body. And you know, I ended up having a cracked rib and a spinal injury. So when he hit me, okay, I was a bus driver for 17 years. I was actually leaving my job, my 9 to 5. So when he hit me, immediately I said, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to go on disability. Like I knew it. I knew as soon as the man hit me, I was like, oh my goodness. Wow. And true enough, that's what happened. So just to make a long story short about that, I owned my business at that time. I owned my business for 12 years. So I always worked a 9 to 5 and ran my full service entertainment company. All, you know, I still was doing it. So, after my accident, I had to have, over the last 5 years, I've had, 5 major surgeries so far. And with each surgery, like I have pictures of me at my events with the back brace on after my back surgery, with the arm brace on after my 2 shoulder surgeries. But I was still going, because I didn't know how else to be. You know, I'm a hustler. Look, my grandmother worked 4 or 5 jobs as long as I can remember. And I get that from her. Like, listen, we're going to take care of each other. We're going to take care of our kids. You know, so no matter how bad I was hurting, I still was gonna have that event on March 3rd. I still was gonna have that event on it. So I kept going. And during this time, my son, he'll be 16 in September, but my baby has always been my number one supporter. Anything I need especially after every surgery, he was there. He's like, nope. What time do you listen? You're hungry. What's happening? And so I love him. But even on top of his health, my whole entire family, and I'm not even over exaggerating, my whole entire family, just embraced me and my son during this time. And I really didn't want for anything. And I mean, it's just a blessing having such a great support system. And, but okay. So I said all that to say, while I was going, I wasn't healing correctly. So I was going. But in the meantime, my body was still not healing like it should, right? Like I would heal real fast. But the aches and pains that I would have after were just, sometimes I would have to, take the pain medications and be down for 2 days after that. Like every event I would do, I would be out of commission for 2 or 3 days after because I did too much at the event. So finally last year, and Sonia, we've talked about this experience. Last year, I finally realized that I have to sit down, which for me was horrible because I've never sat down. I don't even know how to sit down. I don't know what that is. Okay. So I am here in this world. I know what my purpose is in this world. My purpose is to help others. My purpose is to uplift others, especially single moms and mompreneurs. And like, I know why I'm here on this earth, right? So last year at the Lions Club, and Sonia, you're very well versed in what happened because I was doing an event, and at the end of the event, I could hardly move. Like, I not even over exaggerating. I could hardly move. And I sat down at the table, and I'm good at not saying I'm hurting. I'm very good at that. And so I sat there, and Dr. Mary Welsh, who I love, she's the president of the Lions Club, just for a couple more weeks, actually. She's about to give her throne up. But I didn't even know she was recognizing what was going on with me at that time. She knows that, I hurt sometime, blah, blah. So a couple days after the event, she said, you know what? Thank you so much for doing that event. We appreciate you. She said, but I could see on your face how bad you were suffering. And when she told me that, I said, oh, my cape not covering up my face? Hold it. Hold it. Every way, you guys know that I'm really suffering. And she said, Mona, you're going to have to sit down. And I said, you know what? Okay. All right. So then I started seeking help in a different way. Because I said, okay, I'm going to retire from doing, events as actively. And I had slowed down. This last year, 2023, I really had slowed down. I started doing events every 3 months instead of once a month or twice a month. Right. So I called myself kind of like calming down, but after that conversation with her and after my family just really lovingly saying, we want you to just stop, like leave, right, still. And so I decided to retire from my business. It was still going to be going on though, right? It was still going to be going on. I was still going to be sponsoring. I was still going to be doing a lot of supportive things in the community. Although me, myself, I wasn't going to be like doing the footwork of the events. So for me, that was fine. And then kind of like October, November came, and with the change in the weather, for the first time since my car accident, the change in the weather in 2023 from fall to winter, I was outdone. I was the Tin Man. I couldn't hardly move. I was in so much pain in the wintertime. And I was like, wait, this has never happened before. Why am I having such a hard time? And then I had a talk with myself and I said, oh, because after every surgery, because after every procedure, I've had many, many, many procedures in between those 5 surgeries. After every procedure, I would not allow myself to not think about what's my next thing. What's my next thing? What? Okay, so let's schedule this. I got to do this. I got to do that. And so my body said, no, either you're going to let me heal correctly or you're no longer going to be here. So you're going to have to sit down. So I had to literally, now I'm fully disabled through the state and all that stuff. But I'm fully disabled, and I did not know that being fully disabled means that I had to dissolve my business. All right, so I've owned this business for over 17 years. I've been an entertainer since I was like 9 years old, though. But my own business for 17 years, I was really heavy in it. And when they said I had to dissolve Mona Lisa's lyrics, oh my goodness, I plummeted into depression. Like you would have thought I lost a whole family member when they told me I had to dissolve my business. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, no,
Well, you did. You lost a part of yourself, a whole identity of how you saw yourself. And one thing.
So yet again, I had to reinvent myself. Mm-hmm. We talked about that too, like reinventing myself. So 5 years ago, I already had to reinvent myself, didn't I? With the first initial car crash,
right?
But last year in December, I had to dissolve it, and I fell into such a low time, and but I made it up in my mind. I said, so now you have to sit still. Now you have to use the heating pad and take your meds and work out stretches, and so. Watch what you eat, do this, do that. So now I'm living in that lifestyle and I feel better. However, I will just say my whole life has changed because I have to be unapologetic about my shortcomings. I have to be unapologetic about my health. When I can't look at Sonia anymore and be like, you know what, I'm going to come to that linked event because I don't know how I'm going to feel until I wake up. I do not know. And that's not an over exaggeration because even today, Pastor Ovella, who I'm going to introduce you to, she's phenomenal. But there was a women's event that went on today, and I have been looking forward to this women's event for like 2 months. Okay, and I was telling everybody about it and everything. It was good. It was fine. So this morning, I worked out. I felt good, and then maybe an hour later, I felt the pain coming on. So I ended up having a really bad migraine today. And I could not go to the event. But let me tell you, in my mind, I still was like, nope, I can go. I can just take my meds when I get back from. And then I said, you know what? If you don't sit down, okay, you're going to really hurt yourself if you don't sit down. Because when your body is in pain, that means something's not quite right now.
Exactly.
You need to do what needs to be done to rejuvenate yourself so you will feel better. So that is my life. And I felt bad because I was like, oh, that was such a phenomenal event and I wish I could go. But you know what I did? I took my meds and I went to sleep. So I'm unapologetic for it now. You know what I mean? But when I first started going through it, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't make it. I'm so sorry. I was hurting. My neck, my back. Now I'm on the other side of the depression because now I see what needs to be done in order for me to live a full life. And you can't live a full life if every other day you have to take meds that knock you out for 2 or 3 days, right? So
right.
I've learned a lot. And thank you, Sonia, because you have been such a great support.
Thank you.
So many small business owners that are my girlfriends, all of you have really rallied behind me and said, what? Oh, you're going to postpone this event? It's fine. What do you need? What's going on? Do you need some? And I was like, oh, it's okay to be human.
It is.
It's okay to be human too. Yeah.
It is okay.
And I do seek help too. I do have a therapist too, just to put that out there. But yeah, and that's helped too. That's helped out. Yeah.
Yes, and that's part of the reason why she's here. Thank you for sharing your story so people can understand. And the main thing, like she said, she did seek a therapist. And I want everyone to know, even our moms here on here, there's commonality when it comes to being a mom, as far as putting up too much on yourself and then thinking like you're responsible for everything. The ones here, Ratanji, Sierra, and Tiffany, you can chime in. Tell me, how many times did you feel, or was there an incident where you felt like I'm not living up to it? I'm coming up short. Have you had any of those thoughts?
You know what? I'll chime in. I'm a mother of 5 blended sons, and there are a lot of things that I could either have to come to it late, come early and then leave early, or come late and stay for a few minutes. And I had to explain to my people. They said, "Okay, we know how this guy is," but I had to make sure that he was okay. So there were some times that, for my own mental health, I didn't want him out screaming and people looking at me, because that was I felt at the time I wasn't educated as I'm now. That's an embarrassment. So I had to put my life on hold, because you get one time to be a mom. You get one time to do this right. You get one time to show the world that I did this for my child. So a lot of times I had to just step back out and get Ratanji out the way and focus on Hezekiah. Not only to have Hezekiah, but I had Zachariah, who was an all-city popular kid that was in everything. So I had supportive siblings and supportive parents. But there were times where people didn't understand, for my mental health, that I'm raising a child with mental disabilities. That does affect the moms. And we have to sometimes take a step back and say, I can either come early and then leave early, or I can come late and stay for a few minutes. But that was something I had to not worry about what people think. I can't make the event. I'll be there when I get there. I can stay for a short time and come in, say hi, take a couple pictures, leave. But now the Hezekiah, he's out and about. If I go somewhere without him, they're asking me, where's Hezekiah? So the tables did turn, but it took work and it took practice. And I tell people all the time, when you're a mom of a child with special needs, sometimes those moms need mental support as well too, because it does affect your mental state.
It does.
And don't be afraid. I want the mothers to know, don't be afraid to seek out help. Don't be afraid to seek out therapy, because it's very necessary, even in this time, just raising a regular kid. As I said, as an educator, doing ministry, we have to make sure that we are okay. Because you can't be okay and take care of somebody else if you're not okay. And it's okay not to be okay sometimes.
So true. It's okay sometimes not to be okay. I love it. Tiffany or Sierra, did you want to chime in?
I would say, for me personally, I used to have moments like that where I had to definitely see how Mackenzie felt about certain things when going out in public or going to places that's loud. I had to be mindful that she needs headphones, or because her ears are sensitive. She has tubes in her ears. Just being aware. It was in the beginning, I wasn't as aware because I was new at being a mom with dealing with a child with Down. So a lot of things, we would walk into it and I'd be like, okay, it's time to go. But now, Mackenzie run the show. It's not a moment. She over here laughing. It's not a moment that go by that don't be like, I live around her. If she's okay with certain things, we move. If it's time to go, it's time to go. I don't really bend myself up about the next person or the inconvenience that it might cause, because she is who she is, regardless on if you understand it or not. And a lot of times I'm not here to explain it to you. This is my child. This is what's going on. We here. We showed up. Y'all love us. We love y'all too. But Mackenzie runs the show. I can say that for her dad. I can say that for my mom. Like, if Mackenzie with it, we on board. But the moment she has an inconsistency or she's just uncomfortable or something that's unsettling for real, we're leaving. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I had to learn that, because a lot of things she's uncomfortable with. So I'm not going to continue to pressure her into things that she's uncomfortable with. Not saying that we don't try, because we try. And certain things she just like going to NASCAR or just going to really loud things. I really have to genuinely be mindful of things like that. It might not affect me, but it affects her. So as she gets older, she'll be 11 this year. So as she gets older, it's just more of a learning curve, more of a journey that we're going down together. So I just enjoy it.
Yeah. Mackenzie is a beautiful. I mean, her personality is off the chain.
Yes, Lord.
I mean, I still love the picture when she had like held her bracelet up to show, like, look at what bracelet I made.
Yeah. She's such a happy kid. I swear.
She is. I adore her so much. We are going to take one more break to acknowledge our businesses events. But as we go into our last segment, there's a couple things that I want you to share. This is mental health awareness. So as a mom, as a mother, as a woman, or anything, what do you want to share because of your firsthand experience? What do you want to share with others? What do you want them to understand and know based on what you have experienced? Okay, and we'll be right back.
Juneteenth 2024 Book Fair, presented by Detroit Book City. Saturday, June 22nd, 2024 from 12 noon to 5 p.m. at the historic People's Community Church, 8601 Woodward Avenue, Detroit, Michigan. Free admission, RSVP on Eventbrite.
SOL Garden Creations and Aqua Creations, STEM Bioengineering Summer Camp. June 24th through August 2nd. Monday through Friday 8:30 a.m. through 5 p.m. Ernest T. Ford Recreational Center. Free to the public, seats are limited. Register today. For more information, contact Jacqueline Lindsay at 248-795-5409.
Bassman Productions presents a funk rhythm and soul concert featuring Full Circle and special guests. Saturday, June 29th, 2024 from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Secondra's Place, 12325 Hamilton Avenue, Highland Park, Michigan. Admission $25. Come get P-funked.
BUF of Michigan and Ford Philanthropy, Youth Careers Exploratory Academy, exciting summer program. July 22nd through July 26th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Fisher Magnet Upper School East, 15491, Madeline Street, door number 5, Detroit, Michigan. Registration deadline is June 20th. For more information, contact Dr. Linda McLean at 313-894-2200.
Let us support you in your event by adding it to our Stay Connected segments and encouraging community support. Visit www.dealswithbob.com or call us today.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, search for Deals with Bob, and click the subscribe button.
Okay, and we're back. Okay, I'm going to start. One thing that I wish people kind of knew or remember is that I used to sometimes say, I have a son that's autistic. I'd be like, well, if you because it's a spectrum, and if he was highly impaired, then you wouldn't, you would understand, but because he's, highly cognitive, he's still autistic. So when he behaves in autism, you need to give my child grace because he's autistic. And I'd be like, so I used to say sometimes I just wish like you just knew, because if he was severely, then you wouldn't be treating him like this. So my thing is people out there, listen, cognitive impairment is a rainbow. It's a spectrum of what it looks like. So shed your own stereotype viewpoint of what that looks like so that you can give people grace when they need it. That's kind of where my frustration used to come from. And then it came because my son too, it'd be like, well, people don't understand me. So then he internalized it more, like something was wrong with him.
what I would like to say is really for the mothers, the parents of children with any type of special need. Embrace the need, whatever it is. Don't be ashamed of whatever that need is, because I think someone said earlier in the show, it's doing more harm than good when you hide from
Right.
the disability, when you just deny the disability. You're doing your baby no justice. So accept what's going on, embrace it. That's your child, no matter what,
Right. It
and
is.
love that child to the best of your ability and move on. Give them all the help that you can give them. My sister said about my son, about Carter, she was like, do he even know that he Down syndrome? Because he don't act like what they would say a typical Down syndrome child acts like. I don't know what that is. I don't know what a typical Down syndrome child act like. I don't know what that is. But I know that my son, we treat him no different.
Right.
He get in trouble just like everybody else in the house. Uh, but like Sierra said, he runs it. Yeah, he runs. He do run the house because he's spoiled. But but we don't treat him any different. We treat him just like all the rest of the boys, and we also have a blended of 5 boys in our household. We don't treat them any different. Just accept what's going on so that your children can get the help that they need. And not only your children, your family members. It may this don't just stop with our children. Your family members may have some type of disability. Same thing. Love them where
Yeah,
they're at. Love them where they're at.
I love that. Love them where they at.
I look at my experience with Hezekiah. I have just learned to embrace it, and I call this my blue journey, so I can be able to help other parents to the roads I have been down to kind of make it easier for them. So this has been a learning experience for me. We are painting the city blue, the state blue, the country blue. So this is a journey, and I'm teaching other parents how to navigate through the journey.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
And again, I love all of the encouraging comments from the moms. And, it's such a blessing to know that there are such big hearted, honest hearted people out there who not only, you know, help their own families, but you guys are striving to help others who are in the same situation to be able to get through it and to get the help that they need. So that's amazing. But I will say from my situation, I have two different things. So the first thing is, do not apologize to this world for what your reality is. Okay? Your reality is just that, it's yours. So, just because we're thinking that, oh my God, I wasn't able to make it to this. Oh my goodness, I got to apologize. Oh my God, I wasn't able to take my son to this over here. Oh my goodness, I got to apologize. Oh my, no. If they love you, they'll accept you the way you are, and they will embrace you and understand that the hell you may be going through, maybe they don't understand, but they love you. Okay. Right. So don't apologize for what your reality is. The second thing is, I had to learn this the hard way. Allow yourself to feel the emotions that you need to feel. As women, as mothers, look, we run this and that and do this, and the whole house depends on us, and Listen, allow yourself to feel a little sad. Allow yourself to sit back and say, wait a minute, what am I doing? I need help. Allow yourself to go through emotionally what you need to go through. Okay? Because when we suppress what we're feeling, it causes internal illnesses, doesn't it? So it's hard on you mentally, it's hard on you physically, it's hard to function when you feel so heavy with what you're going through. So and just real quick, I have a real quick example. But one day I was running my dad around. We lost my mom 3.5 years ago. And so I'm really trying to make sure my dad is taken care of. I have 5 brothers, and 4 are still with us. But I try to do everything that I can. So I went and picked up my dad. I'm running him and my brother around. And my dad found some photos that my mom, had like in the closet or whatever. So I'm driving, I'm talking, I'm having a good day. And then my dad hands me a picture of my oldest brother who we lost on my 25th birthday. So he handed me a picture and it threw me so off. I'm driving, y'all. I started crying. I pulled over. I said, I'm sorry. I need a moment. And my brother and my dad said, take all the time you need. It's okay. It's okay. And I sat there and I cried as long as I needed to. And then I said, whoa, okay. All right, let's continue. And then I started driving again. But I had to learn that. I need to feel the way I feel when I feel it, and don't suppress it because it's going to make, life a whole lot worse. But, seek the help that you need. We are super women. We're Superwoman. We Wonder Woman. We're Batman and everything rolled into
I love it. We Batman.
Yes, we're Batman too. So we need to sit back and say, someone who is a professional that can help me sift through these emotions that I'm having. That we need to just sit down and say, let me allow someone to help me.
Awesome. Thank you, Mona. And Sierra, I see you're out and about now. What would you like to leave the people with?
Honestly, it's so funny because I had to come outside and get a nice fresh air. But honestly, I would just say, don't be afraid to speak up, because it's truly someone in some family in some shape or form that's just like you. It's okay to speak up and say something, because for so long, like, I feel like I'm technically didn't speak up Mackenzie 10. So it's like I didn't have that community awareness. I was looking, but it was very hard for me to try to find people where I can share the same type of stories with, and people come up and we can really chat, and the people that I was embraced with can really understand. And it wasn't until I crossed paths with Tiffany and just being able to embrace those type of things and just being aware and not being afraid to share your experiences, because there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just it's your life. It's something that you have to captivate and just be grateful, because there's so much good that come with, even though we have the hardest times out here. It's not always easy. And people, whether you single, whether you marry, you in a relationship, it's not always easy. But it's people out here that can have and share the same point of view, the same stories. We might come up with a better option just talking. I literally could just knowing now, I can just call Tiffany and say, and calling to not complain, but to share my struggle and maybe come up with a better solution. Like, we don't have that. We don't have that awareness. So I feel like speaking up and just saying something is so much more rewarding than just bottling things up and not really thinking somebody don't know, because it's people out here just in the same shoes as you, honestly. So that's one thing I would say.
I love it. I love it. Well, this has been a phenomenal conversation. And for me, all of the advice, some of the things you're saying, I take to heart as well. I know for me, I wasn't as verbal early on as I could have been when it came to my son. And a lot of people in the family, because he's so high functioning, wasn't even aware of it. So they just thought he didn't like them. And they took it very personally, like, oh, he just won't talk to me. He don't like me. If he won't talk to me, don't love me, I ain't gonna love him either. And it wasn't far from the truth. It's like, wait a minute. So, like Britanji said, we only have one time to be a parent. There's no manual that came out of the womb with the child. So we're learning as we go. If I have to end the show in a way, give yourself some grace and know that you're doing an amazing job. And how I know this? Because God chose you to be exactly who you are and to handle the situations that he particularly given to you. So I want everybody to mark their calendars and come back next Wednesday, because we're going to close out Mental Health Awareness Month as we're speaking with Dr. Michelle Lano, who is the host of Mind Matters with Dr. Michelle. And if you have not already done so, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. All you need to do is be on YouTube, do a search for Deals with Bob, and click that subscribe button. While you're there, hit the notification bell so you will be notified of every single time that we go live. And then make sure that you share this with other people. So ladies, I just want to thank you again for being a part of tonight's show. We could have talked for a whole nother hour. I mean, there's so much as moms, period, let alone moms that have these special little children and young adults that we're learning, especially for me. Mine might be the one of the oldest. Tiffany does have an older one as well. There was not as much support. There was not as much information. So the more vocal we are, the more awareness events we do, the more we verbalize, the more awareness that can be up there, the more we're advocates, the more we create nonprofits, the better it is not only for us, but for, like Sierra said, those same women out there that we haven't met yet that are dealing with the same thing we're dealing with. So thank you, ladies, for being so open, for being transparent. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. And yeah, keep being those super moms for those super kids. All righty. Thank you guys for tuning in. We had a lot of people that were engaged. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I am Sonia Weaver. I encourage you to spend with purpose, because your dollar does matter, and deal with Bob. We'll be back next week. Have a great night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.